So I got all.
At this time, I'd like to call to order the city local council meeting for June 13th, 2022. Please stand for the pledge and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Sorry, Mr. Slavy, you should have a roll call, please. Has everybody signed in, please? Thank you.
Councilman Milburn. Mr. Milburn's absent. We had an emergency about an hour ago, a work-related emergency that is not going to be joining us this evening. Councilwoman Waschinsky.
Here.
Councilwoman Moyer.
Here.
Councilwoman Ennis.
Here.
And Mayor Ulrich.
Here.
4 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. At this time, under acknowledgement, I would like to swear in Officer Derek Jenkins. Derek's joined us. He was with the Cole Township Police Department, but found he, I think, kind of like Chief Psycho, so he wanted to come over with us. So, Derek, Chief, and your family, if you would come up here, please. Council, anybody want to join?
How you doing? 45 now.
I, Derek Jenkins, do solemnly solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of police officer in the Shamokin Police Department, Shamokin, Pennsylvania, with fidelity. Congratulations.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, thanks.
In front of you, someone should help them come closer.
I didn't know.
Tell us when.
Why are you close?
Ready? 3, 2.
Congratulations, brother. Congratulations. Thanks, Bert.
Derek, I'm sorry, this is your copy.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, buddy, be good. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, buddy, take care.
The next acknowledgement was to be with Colt Place, but unfortunately, he had to go out of town. We'll do that at a later meeting. Mr. Slavy, is there any bids?
No, sir.
Is there any correspondence?
Just one correspondent, which I'll send over to the, no, two correspondents, I'm sorry. This here, just a heads up to members of council, this is a formality. I received a letter, Friday, from the health system. Each year, they do a memorial butterfly release in Clockhaven Park. This is going to be done on Sunday, August 21st, 2022 at 1:30. So this will be on the agenda for council to vote in the July meeting.
All right.
And the other thing I received, I think I had this last week. This is addressed to Mayor Ulrich and Shamokin City Council. It is a request to be considered. And I have it on the agenda today. Cameron Jacoby is interested in filling the vacancy on the RDA board. That vacancy became, as a result of Bill Milren, former Mayor Milren, when he was promoted, or not promoted, but appointed to a member of city council. So I had a formal request for that, and that I do believe is on the city's agenda today. Mayor, that is all I have.
All right, thank you. Do we have any citizens' comments contingent upon business listed on our agenda? Okay, minutes. May I have a motion to accept the minutes of the City of Shamokin Council meeting on April 11th, 2022? It was a regular council meeting.
That date's wrong. Are you asking for a motion? It's gonna be
Okay, we need to.
May 9th.
Correct.
Okay.
It's supposed to be for May.
Okay.
So,
All right, I stand corrected.
sorry.
May I have a motion to set the minutes of the city of Shamokin council meeting on May 11, 2022?
May 9th.
May 9th. Okay, May 9th.
So moved,
2022. All right, thank you.
It's up to you.
I have time in a second.
Okay, so there's a motion. Mrs. Moore. Okay.
Anything on the question?
Councilwoman Krasinski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Moore,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dees,
Yes.
Mayor Oliver,
Yes.
the motion carries, 1 yeas, 1 absent.
May I have a motion to approve the bills for May 2022 as listed on the bill list?
So moved.
Second.
Anything on the question?
Mrs. Krasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Oliver,
Yes.
the motion carries, 4 yeas.
Okay, under director's reports, accounts and finances. Dennis?
I have the treasurer's report for the month of May 2022. General fund, $988,096.65. Liquid fuel balance, $41,634.02. Library balance, $99,277.34. Sinking fund number 1, debt service, $203,576.95. Sinking fund number 2, recreation, $204,147.54. Street lighting balance, $19,849.42. Zoning grant fund balance, $50,007.56. ARPA COVID CARE Act balance, $110,024.24. For a total balance in all accounts, $1,716,613.72. Submitted by the city treasurer, Brenda Scanlon. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you both. At this time, parks and public buildings.
Yes, just a few comments, Mayor, Council, and citizens in attendance. You'll see coming up is the ratification of the music in the park budget of $4,000. We certainly appreciate that and we look forward to the first concert in June. I've talked several times to Larry about the pool, and one important thing is we passed our general and electrical inspections. Very important to the safety of everyone who attends the pool. We also have purchased new lifeguard chairs, ours were, we had eked it out as long as we could, so I was there at the pool and very nice. In addition to that, we have some new tables that are flanking now the other side of the pool, which is really nice, and new umbrellas as well. Larry is currently working on the wading pool. It wasn't open today, it should be open, he's thinking by Friday. And he also said they had a good opening day, lots of people in attendance. And they sold wading passes and they're booking a number of parties, so it's been a successful opening day. We appreciate everybody's presence at the pool today.
Thank you. Streets and public improvements.
It's been a busy month for the guys. Heritage Festival, Memorial Day, everything was done, cleaned up, everything looked absolutely beautiful. They have been hitting potholes as well around town, sorry. And anybody that's missing, getting to the street sweeper on your streets, we just reach out to me at City Hall so I can address that. Other than that, I have nothing.
All right, thank you. All right, public safety, unfortunately, Mr. Belgrand is not present. Chief.
Any of the speakers?
Yeah.
I don't really have too much for you. We're voting on our 2021 CDBG PSA on the agenda today. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any of those. Demo on Independence Street is going well. If you haven't been by, take a look. And then just a couple announcements for the park portion of that project. We have a pre-bid meeting at City Hall on June 27th at 1:30 for any prospective contractors that may be interested in bidding on that project. Bids are due July 11th at noon to City Hall, and they'll be publicly opened and read aloud on the 12th, so the next day. And there's an advertisement in the news item. On Saturday, there'll be another advertisement, I believe, that has all the detailed information for any contractor that would like to potentially put a bid in for that project. That's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions for a minute.
Oh, thank you.
The only thing I was gonna say was just more of a public service announcement. We're getting into the prime holiday season for fireworks and such like, and just ask the public to please be careful in the use of them to prevent injuries and fires. And I think the chief can reiterate more. Although the fireworks are legal to be sold, there isn't too many places in the city where the aerial ones can be set off. So it's just more of a public service announcement. We're getting into that time of year. Be respectful of your neighbors and stuff as far as hours and times that you're doing it.
All right, thank you.
A couple things real quick for the statistic reports for the month of May. We filed 22 criminal complaints, 8 non-traffic citations, 23 traffic citations, 2 warnings, 78 parking tickets, 47 parking citations, 230 sweeper tickets, 4 code tickets, 1,519 total calls with 3,437 miles patrolled. Also, our bandit officer, I believe, removed 5 more additional vehicles off city streets that were abandoned. That's it for the report. Mr. Mayor, if possible at the end, if we can have a short executive session with personnel.
For you, yes.
Thank you. Also, Mr. Slavy is aware of his words, the mayor. I did a traffic study down on Franklin Street at the stop signs. I do have a short report. I'm going to hand it out to the administration of the city, let them read over it. And with the traffic study, this is in reference to several months ago, a request was made in reference to a stop sign in the area of Franklin and Spruce Streets in the city. Probably the last 2 months, I went out, both unmarked and marked cars, trying to do a traffic study, pedestrian study. Pedestrians are pretty normal as far as the rest of the city for foot traffic. One thing I have noticed is the speeds are greater on Franklin. And what I mean greater is not 50 miles an hour. I did a study on Shamokin Street stop sign to stop sign. Average speed was about 12 miles an hour. From Race Street down to Chestnut, right around that speed was the same, about 12 miles an hour. It's beyond Chestnut where the speed's increasing to about 18 miles an hour. I believe it's because it's a straight shot. You're driving off the stop signs all the way down. So again, as far as it, I did a time study, I also did a speed study. It's my recommendation, if the stop sign's at least at one of the intersections, if not both, you're gonna slow your speed down. Okay, without a doubt. And like I said, it's just, that's my opinion. I understand what to go through council and also the warehouse supervisor, but I'm just putting it out that I did conclude the study that Mr. Slavy requested, so that was done.
Chief. I confirmed with Mr. Slavy, and the next thing we need to do is speak with Kevin Richardson from Streets and also the school district, as a courtesy to let them know. So hopefully by next month we can act on it.
Also, Mr. Mayor, another thing that I think we should do on behalf of the city is we gotta get something out there for some four-wheelers. We're getting multiple calls for some reason. I don't know if there was an article or something happened where people think they can ride them on city streets 7 days a week. We have informed our 41 plus calls we received on this. The second portion of this is what we're noticing now is Friday to Monday, we are getting more of the persons who should be excluded from riding their four-wheelers on the streets. They're trying to blend in, and we're picking them out because one of the things with the AOAA, helmets, registration on. We have people going by with no helmets, people with no registrations, we stop them. There are local people who assume because of a news article, they were permitted to ride on the roadways. We have told them they can't. We are also getting multiple four-wheeler complaints now. I stopped 5 myself, and the big thing is basically what they're telling me is because of the price of gas, they're gonna start using their four-wheelers in town because other people are doing it. I informed them it's gonna result in a citation and probably us impounding their machine. But I think we need to get something out, because for some reason, in the last month, we have got multiple calls about 7 days a week being permitted on roadways.
They're everywhere. Just before lunchtime.
Everywhere.
5 of them out here, off of the four-wheelers, standing. I thought they were coming in here. After a few minutes, they got back on, and then they went up the street here, one way.
Yeah.
5 of them.
And the thing about it is, and I'll be honest with you, the ones that I have stopped so far have immediately stopped. So we're not getting into an issue with chasing four-wheelers and motorcycles because it ain't worth it.
Right.
They have stopped, and I gave them the common courtesies. They stopped to explain to them. A lot of people just assumed Friday to Monday they were permitted to ride. So I don't know if you have to
Oh, I
reiterate
don't know where that.
that where it came from. So, also, with that being said, with the four-wheelers, I explained before, I'll explain it again. Everybody who needed their warnings got them. We stop you, we're impounding your bike. It's gonna be the way we alleviate this problem, because they're getting bad. They're getting bad again. The second portion of this, and I have to talk to our solicitor about it, are these new mini bikes that are kicking up everywhere.
It's like what?
The little mini bikes,
Yeah.
okay? Electric, gas, they are everywhere. And the problem is at intersections, you can't see or hear them coming.
Right.
So that's another problem I'm gonna talk to the solicitor about because of the legalities involved in being on the roadway. Anything for me?
No, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
All right, under new business, I'd like a motion for number 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 2 and 3 we'll discuss. So may I have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
On the question? In regards to the ones mentioned by Mayor Albert. Yes. Councilwoman Lichinsky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Moyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries for all of them mentioned, by Mayor Albert.
Okay. In regards to number 2, it's a request to motion to approve Carrington Family Investments LLC event 5th Ward block party on August 17th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., closing East Chestnut Street from Franklin Street to Pearl Street and North Pearl from East Chestnut to Race from 8 AM to 11 PM.
Now, previously, after the workshop, the chief of police wasn't present with us because of another matter. And I felt and still do feel that he as the chief of police should have input, or provide input, assistance before council votes to close any streets in the city. I don't believe council nor I should close any streets without having his input in notifying the proper authorities such as the 911 center, also Chief Jeffrey or any of his assistant chiefs. So council, chief of police is here, and maybe we ought to ask the chief of police for his opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Slavy. I looked over, Michelle did provide me with a copy, it's the same copy that you had. And there were some questions I know brought up, a couple things that I was able to work through here. Number one, I don't see an issue with it. The only thing I would ask is to Michelle, of course, in the area where you're at, there you are, in the area where you're at, God forbid, we have a fire at that time period, we're just gonna have to.
No one's going to be on the street except for the.
No, understood, I'm just saying because if we have to get equipment in that way. And basically what I'm hoping to do that day is, if we do have something and it's permitted, I'm gonna have one of the officers on the way by tell you, hey, there's an emergency down the street, just watch it coming through. The second part of it is, I understand that the request was made for the open container to be lifted. And I had questions about that until I read further, and what's gonna happen is basically Michelle's covering her tracks because they may have alcohol-infused cupcakes. So it's not under an open container law per se in the city, but I think she's looking at that in the event that these cupcakes may be sold and they contain an alcoholic beverage with them.
And that's on here.
Yes,
The part on here, chief, on the event request, under that section, will alcohol be sold at this event? The person submitting this answers yes, but not consumed.
Want me to elaborate on that?
so under that, what I have is, and when I read that, I'm showing the alcohol-infused cupcakes. So if Michelle can clarify it, it'd be a big help if alcohol is gonna be sold or not.
There's vendors such as, Jackass Distillery, they sell alcohol you can take with you. I don't know if it's moonshine, like,
It's, they make moonshine and rum like products, but they only sell.
Excuse, hold on a second, hold on, would you please come up to the microphone?
you can go to like,
Could you state your name and your address?
Yeah, so people make them up.
Hi, I'm Roxanne, I'm here on behalf of Carriage Family Investments here. Okay. So one of the vendors that we were looking to have is called Jackass Distilleries. They sell the rum, they sell moonshine, they make it on their farms, really great. But they sell it bottled and they don't sell shots, they don't sell mixed drinks. Nobody would be allowed to drink the alcohol.
So
At
the
the
bottles
event.
would be
Yeah,
sealed?
sealed bottles.
Okay.
So they'll be available to purchase an
Yeah.
alcoholic
Yeah.
beverage and just not consume.
Right, okay.
Okay, excellent.
Is that it?
Thank you.
Right, I have a question then, do we need to suspend the open container ordinance then, or?
that was recommended by Mr. Sneed.
That's,
Just wanted to cover our bases.
the open container law, as the way I read it, is that people can open and consume, because we have a no open container law in the city.
Okay.
Where a container can be open and consumed on a city street during the festival. They're saying this is gonna be open and consumed, but I understand why they're doing it, it's just to protect themselves, because who's not gonna stop someone from buying a bottle, walk down the street, crack it open, great.
And we had this discussion months back about Independence Street and
Yes.
Main Street as to, you know, how are you going to be able to control it? And that's why,
Well, the difference is that H Street has a liquor license, they're allowed to, so they can be out.
the concern with Mrs. Lasinski was.
Independent Street itself.
So, you don't see any issues at all with any of
I honestly don't, and the reason I'm gonna say that is, I believe this is more family oriented compared to a block party. And I believe that the people that are gonna be able to control the situation, and again, we're gonna have officers in the area, because we try to every block party, and it's unfortunate if we come across anything, then we'll deal with that.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Mayor, also on number 3. If the audience is done having their meeting, we'll begin continuing our meeting. Number 3 is a typo error. That should be 11 to 10. It's my understanding where it says 10 to 8.
Right.
Anyone have any questions with
So
regards
it's
to
the
that?
same day.
The same day, except that time is incorrect. Okay? So therefore, with that change, council can proceed, in taking the vote to grant or not to grant the 2 or 3. Okay, Mr. President? Yes.
All right, so at this time, can I get a motion for number 2 and items number 3?
That's number 3 as amended.
I'll second the motion.
She,
Is there anything on the question?
Yeah.
you have any questions? The mayor is asking, Mrs. Moyer, Mrs. Ellis.
I think I got it.
Okay. I mean, he's asking, is there any questions?
I do not have any other questions.
Okay.
Mrs. Lasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Ulrich.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 4 yeas, 1 abstention on number 2 and number 3.
All right, at this time, I request a motion to approve the music in the park budget of $4,000.
So moved.
Second.
I mean, are you gonna ask me for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything on the question? All right, Mr. Slavy?
Mrs. Lasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Ulrich.
Yes. Request a motion ratifying the hiring of Bruce Rogers as a full-time code enforcement officer with a salary of $38,000 with benefits effective May 24th, 2022.
So moved.
Second. Water meeting. Water meeting.
All right, is there anything on the question? Okay, Mr. Slavy?
Mrs. Lasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Ulrich.
Yes.
We just need 1 correction in there. And it's a typographic, but Mr. Rogers does not have a D in his name.
Mr. Rogers.
We'll correct that.
Okay, at this time, I request a motion ratifying the hiring of Carrie Linderloh as full-time code enforcement secretary at the rate of $14.50 an hour with a maximum of 35 hours a week with benefits effective May 16th, 2022.
Because I'm confused. No, you're doing a fine job. I was trying to figure out how we were turning her position as security.
Oh, secretary.
Oh. In my life, I could do it.
I'll make the motion.
And we'll make sure minutes reflect secretary.
I'll second that.
Is there anything on the question? No.
Mrs. Lasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Albert.
Yes. Request a motion ratifying the hiring of Joseph Swope as code enforcement subcontractor effective May 24th, 2022.
Motion. I'll do it.
I'll second.
Anything on the question?
How many hours is he doing a week of?
This is like Karen,
Okay,
approximately 20-25 hours.
okay,
These are basically filling fan stuff. After doing it.
okay, thank you.
You understood it that way.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Mrs. Lasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Albert.
Yes.
It's over. That's it.
Request a motion to approve to enter into a professional service agreement with CEDACOG for administration of the city of Shamokin's Community Development Block Grant Award for federal fiscal year 2021.
Is that your
That's correct.
21. This is for so the funding that the city just got, which was last year's application 21, but this is our contract to be over administrator.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Because of all the typographical errors. Nobody wants to change.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. You're always applying for the forward year and then doing PSAs for the previous year.
Thank you, Aaron.
Okay, so we need a motion.
I think she did,
Our motion was second.
Who's gonna be separated?
I'll second.
I don't know.
Did you second the motion, Mike?
No.
I'll second it.
Okay, last night. I have a question.
On the question.
Mrs. Lasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Albert.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Request a motion to approve resolution 22-05, paying Shamokin Sheriff the last bus service of $1,945.
I'll read this into. It's a resolution by the city of Shamokin resolves and certifies that it will provide LATS local funds in the amount of $1,945 to match state funds provided pursuant to 74 PA CS section 1513 in fiscal year 22-23. Further, the city of Shamokin resolves and certifies that the required amount of local matching funds will be provided no later than the end of the state fiscal year, June 30th, 2023. The following schedule indicates dates and payments of eligible matching funds. It will be $1,945 resolved by the Shamokin City Council and the state.
Yes.
I'll
May I
make
have
the
a
motion.
motion, please?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Anything on the question?
Mrs. Lasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
and Mayor Albert.
Yes. Do we have anything under unfinished business?
I just have, one thing that I wanted to talk about and ask, at the last workshop, we were given that letter by Saber, I don't know if anyone had a chance to review anything in there. One of the things that I really liked the idea of was putting some kind of graphics on the street. I know they do that in other communities, it is a complaint we get a lot, people are getting lost when they're coming to the city, they are not familiar with where they're at. So I don't know if that is something that would require an act of council.
my child. But,
So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on that.
my only thought on that is probably we should get Kevin
Okay.
and run it by him with this Shinsky and see. Because I know the AOA had offered to take care of it.
We definitely help with.
Yeah.
Help Kevin and Tanya.
So that's something we should probably set up a meeting then with them.
Okay.
Alright,
Okay.
are you okay with that?
Yeah.
We wanna wish that.
That's all I got there.
Alright, well, thank you. Alright, other boards and committees, request a motion to appoint Cameron Jacoby to the RDA board to replace William Milbrand, who resigned from the position, effective April 29, 2022, term expiring May of 2026. Could I please have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
And have a second?
One.
I second. No.
Anything on the question?
Mrs. Lasinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Walter.
Yes.
Motion carries. Cameron Jacoby is appointed to replace Mr. Lee.
Under the solicitor's report, this would be considered a first reading of ordinance number 22-07, governing subdivision and land development within the city of Shamokin, Oklahoma County, Pennsylvania. Whereas the city of Shamokin City does not have an active subdivision and land development ordinance, whereas Oklahoma County is the subdivision and land development ordinance effective on a countywide basis unless superseded by local ordinances. Whereas pursuant to Article 4, Section 502C of the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, any municipality within Oklahoma County may adopt by reference to subdivision and land development ordinance of the county, and may by separate ordinance designate the county planning agency, with the county planning agency's concurrence as its official administrative agency for review and approval of plans. Whereas the governing body of this municipality has determined that the provisions of the Oklahoma County subdivision and land development ordinance are appropriate to the needs of the city, and the adoption of a superseding local ordinance is unnecessary. Whereas the local governing body of the city concurs with the Oklahoma County subdivision and land development ordinance and its requirements, and therefore be ordained and enacted by the city, and is hereby ordained and enacted by the authority of the same. The city hereby adopts and ratifies all provisions of the Oklahoma County subdivision and land development ordinance as the enactment governing subdivision and land development ordinance within the city. This ordinance is intended to comply with Article 4, Section 502 of the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. That's the end of that. We would still need a motion to adopt, or to advertise. The motion to advertise this ordinance.
I'll make the motion. I'm sorry.
We have a motion by Mrs. Ennis, seconded by Mrs. Moore. Any members of council, any have any questions? Councilwoman Lasinski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Moyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Oliver,
Yeah.
motion carries.
Nothing further from me, unless anyone has any questions.
Okay, at this time, we'll entertain any citizen comment. Except you might.
Thank you, Mike again, it's Shamokin, Pennsylvania. I brought this up a lot of times up here in the past couple of years, and Chief, you stole my thunder there because I was bringing up about living on Shamokin Street between Reese and Pine on Shamokin Street. They're the only stop signs. So between Chestnut and Spruce is a drag street. And I sit out on my porch and I worry about these kids. Yesterday, 2 kids almost got hit going off their bicycles right there on Spruce Street coming through. These cars, now it's summertime, we've got the pool, we've got a lot of kids there. And please, I'm asking you guys again, please look at putting another stop sign there, especially over on Chestnut Street. You've not only is that a bus stop, but you've got Friendship Fire Company is back there on Rock Street. You've got, that should be at least a 4-way stop sign there. Please consider that because I'm afraid somebody's going to get hurt. Every year we're getting people flying down there, cars are getting basically evaporated because they're flying down there, throwing their brakes. In the last couple of years, we've had traffic accidents going on down there, and I'm so scared. I have kids myself. I'm so scared of these kids running out between cars, and somebody's going to get hurt. I have video cameras of myself opening up my driver's side door, afraid somebody's going to take it off. I mean, I can show you this from my video cameras. The people, we just need to have something there to deter them between Chestnut and Spruce with this drag racing stuff. I mean, it's a big thoroughfare, and please consider it.
Chief Seco, would it be permissible to put a temporary, when you have multiple stop signs knocked over because of an accident? Would it be permissible to put, Mr. Greco, you can chime in if you wish, a temporary?
Yeah, as long as ordinance protects us, I can't see an issue with putting in a temporary stop sign, but I think it has to be announced, correct?
It has to be announced, but signage, definitely for enforcement purposes, still has to go through the ordinance.
Yeah, because even if it's a stop sign on a barrel,
If you were to
it's
do
still
it,
a stop sign.
Mr. Greco, if you were to do it permanently, I understand that, but on a temporary basis, maybe through the summer months.
Yeah,
Well, you can have the temporary sign, but I think we're gonna run into a problem of enforcing them going through the stop sign, because we don't have the ordinance backing us.
That's what I'm saying. But I think if we're even considering it, the chief should go out to the traffic study and both do it in one ordinance. That way we don't have to advertise 2 separate ones, 2 separate ordinances, so there's.
I know we have Chief Tobias has done a study there in the past. What I'll do is, time permitting, I'll try to get down and I'll do another time and speed study in the area.
And even with that area there, I mean, because Chestnut Street is a school bus area. I mean, one kid got hit there. I mean, you should see them, and they get reported. The school bus operators report them. They fly by with the school bus there. I mean, they just fly by. I see it every morning. People just have no. So I think if there's a stop sign there, that's a heavier penalty. That somebody will get a double whammy. It's got to slow down. It's got to slow down there.
So for me, we were the ordinance study, why not make it?
Yeah, we're gonna complete the study and you folks feel we need it, absolutely. But at least we'll have something to back, like I did down here on, because the traffic is greater on Shamokin Street than it is on Franklin Street, there's no doubt. What's that?
I said if you would kindly do that study.
I put that on the list.
Next, yeah.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm Vicki Finney, former employee. No, you're saying I'm short, Bob? All right, you know my daughter Brandy has been addressing council the past 2 meetings about the trash can ordinance. At last council meeting, she had asked that it be reviewed and pooled and the citizens of Shamokin be taken into consideration. I was wondering, has any action been taken on the consideration of the citizens of Shamokin and the trash can incidents?
To the best of my knowledge, the council person that, would be looking to me for an answer.
I'm looking to council for an answer.
The council person that is, in those positions, I would imagine it's under public safety. I have no information that I can give you. The director of public safety is not here.
Can any of the council people tell me, in your workshops, have any of you discussed said trash can ordinance?
This was not discussed at the last.
So in other words, anything she said was not, no action was taken on it, am I correct?
Correct.
So citizen comments, good, bad, or just blown off,
Never blown off.
but not acted on?
I think the comments are always considered by council members, and I think your daughter's comments, it gets down to a common sense approach to enforcement. And I think given the limitations on the property, the code, to my knowledge, there's been no citations issued to the
And
property.
that is a good thing.
Right, so I think it's a common sense approach to say, trying to enforce this.
But if you got somebody in code enforcement who decided they were going to go by the letter of the law, what rights and what protection would the citizens of this town have against somebody like that? I mean, not to say we have anyone like that. I don't think Bruce would ever do something like that. I'm just saying, it's an ordinance that this council has chosen to pass. So what's to stop someone in the future, even if it's 20 years down the road, what's to stop somebody from enforcing that? Because it is legal for them to enforce it. So what is council gonna do to protect the citizens?
Certainly, we could what if any ordinance to death, but we keep on going back to the common sense approach. And if somebody decided they had the ability to file an appeal and have a hearing, I would think the judge would look at the circumstances and decide the case appropriately.
So we want it to go to the point where a citizen would actually have to get a citation and then go before a judge instead of council who was elected to work for the citizens, just taking 5-10 minutes to look at it and say, hey, is there anything we can do to make this more comfortable for the citizens of this town? That is not an option, council chooses not to do that.
Vicki, what if, we talk to Mr. Nobrand and set up a meeting?
I would love that.
Well, for
retired.
you,
I'm retired now, so yeah, let it be with me. She's got 6 kids, 2 jobs,
all right.
and that's why she's not
Well,
here.
get her to put down, anything that she wants addressed, and
Yeah,
she'll
she-
be here.
Trust me, I had a phone call.
Okay. All right, how about if we do that?
I would love that. I thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
All right.
Open the Friday, and let's just find it.
Where's the crybaby at?
Still in my office. I'm Joe Lashinsky, I live at 518 East Pine Street. Congratulations, Carrington family. Fifth Ward Block Party is gonna be awesome. It's nice to see people get motivated about getting things going down there. And they've been very persistent in getting, pulling this together. And Michelle and the rest of them did an awesome job. I wanted to ask, just maybe I heard it wrong, maybe I heard Chief, you said about the ATVs.
Yes,
You said they weren't allowed 7 days. Okay, I want to try to get clarification on something because, and don't think I'm challenging you or any of the guys. I respect you guys. You guys do an awesome job here, keeping things in line in the city. city Shamokin operation of off-highway road vehicles 2005 that was passed under the last administration gives definition of purpose, authority, definitions, permitted travel routes, and then prohibitions. I think according to what was in the news item and according to what's in this ordinance, I believe, and maybe just to take a look at it, that the news item is correct. Because in the prohibitions, the only restrictions it gives on days or times of travel is it says, operation of any OHRV on city streets shall be limited to a period from 0900 hours to 30 minutes before sunset. And nowhere in the ordinance does it say it has to be certain days, times, events, anything like that. So I think that could maybe be. Now, I do agree with you on a couple things. Locals and AOA coming in, all should be, like myself, registered, insured, have a helmet, driver's license. Everyone should have that. Anybody that rides there. But I think as far as like, of course, the last thing I want to see is somebody, you guys end up stopping somebody that's maybe on the route with a helmet, has insurance, all that stuff, and them get a ticket, wasting time going to court. And then the ordinance. So if you guys, the copy I have here was from City Hall, it was 2005. Rick's got his timer, so I think I'm almost done.
Well, the ordinance from 2005, that's fine, but state vehicle code oversees an ordinance. So state vehicle code will have the final say on what happens or what doesn't happen.
But with state vehicle code, then over have a say on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays then, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, in all reality, to be totally honest with you,
You could stop any ATV on the street.
we understand the situation with the AOAA, and to be honest with you, from what I've seen, we have zero issue. These folks are coming in or stopping at stop signs, they're obeying traffic regulations, they're parking appropriately, I see them putting money in the meters, so that's not the issue. I'm trying to alleviate the issue with people doing around the back and trying to get away with it, okay? And again,
It's definitely our people.
yeah, when the gentleman said about the fuel situation, we need to be prepared because the winter is gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
They're gonna be having these four-wheelers everywhere and gas is at $8 a gallon. Now, getting back to what Joe said, I understand as far as ordinance goes, in all reality, I understand we have an ordinance, we have a path. We can stop any ATV on the roadway, because it violates vehicle code. Second part of that is where I can foresee a problem. God forbid if one of the ATVs is in an accident. Because even if ordinance is in place for operation during this time, if they're in the accident, per se, it's a motor vehicle.
Right.
ATVs on roadways are not permitted according to the title of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for the vehicle code. So it's one of those situations we're trying to get and do what we can to assist with this, and for the police end of it, alleviate the problem of people who are just driving to drive.
Right.
And again, we've all been in this town. The point about it is, we understand where we live and the mountains we have around us. Okay, that's fine. And yes, if we see a four-wheeler going through a back street, someone side saddling it, is it illegal? Yes. However, we have to have that judgment as far as more or less community policing to say,
Right.
they're not gonna run, they're not doing this, they're doing the right thing, they just wanna get off the road.
Right.
In order to people driving out Martin Street, coming across Chester
I
Street,
agree.
going up in the bunker, it's insane. Because they don't stop for stop signs.
Right.
Okay, they drive like absolute reckless nature when they're driving. And we can pick them out a mile away, they don't have helmets on, we know that.
Right. I see that's a big thing I see with a lot of it, was the no helmets,
Yeah.
the flying through the intersections. I live right there on East Pine near Franklin.
And the
South
whole thing
Franklin,
is,
they
even
go
if we have to
Franklin
enforce it, we have to enforce it across the board.
Right. And then another thing he mentioned about just real quick and I'm done, the ATV route. When Mayor Brown was here too, and they were discussing the routes, I fought to get James's pizza on the route. And with that gate that was put up behind Rosie's, it kind of closes before James's even opens, because they don't open at 4 o'clock. but they are on the route. So even if like someone from my side of town to get over, there is none. And I believe Fishers, Doreen, if I'm correct, is Fishers on the AOA map too? Yeah. I thought at one point that they were on somewhere on there. I'd like to see, I know this isn't a good shot for this. I'd like to see if there's a way to connect that from Spurs High connector instead of using the portal. Because even though the gates lock at a certain time, I don't agree with the gates, period. That's here nor there. But to connect from one side of the street to the other, because with this in effect, and I understand Chief Psycho's point of they can do what they need to do as far as ATVs. If you're acting like a idiot, you'll get treated like one, I guess. But if I'm just saying, like to connect from where that portal point is to the James's Pizza route, whether it be down to Fishers and either somewhere where there's not a lot of traffic or that would involve entailing the homes to try to connect that so they can also get some of the business from even the locals or people when they're staying out of town and they come into town. Or not everybody rides the AOAA, but thank you. That's all I have. Have a good night.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank God.
Thank you.
Thank God your timer was a problem. Thank you.
Well, we'd like to thank you all for coming. We're going to adjourn for an executive session. When we return, the meeting will be over. And it has to do with personnel.